What happens when someone steps in front of the camera and shows the world something they were not expecting? Not just beauty. Not just style. But a bold side of themselves that makes everyone stop and stare. That is exactly what happened when Ann-Margret bared it all. Her photos left very little to the imagination, and people could not stop talking about them. But what made her pictures so powerful was not just what she wore, or what she did not wear. It was the way she made people feel. In this video, we will explore how Ann-Margret surprised the world, how her photos became unforgettable, and why they still matter even now. You may think you know her story, but there is more to it than just a few pictures. Ann-Margret was not always a star. She was a young girl with big dreams, just like many others. She loved to perform, to sing, to dance, and to act. When she got her first roles, people noticed her talent, but they also noticed something else. She had a kind of energy that pulled people in. Her smile was bright, her hair was wild and fun, and she moved like she was full of life. People could not take their eyes off her. As her fame grew, she was asked to take part in more photo shoots, movies, and shows. And then something changed. There came a moment when Ann-Margret said yes to a photo shoot that would surprise the world. In this shoot, she wore less than anyone expected. She posed with confidence, not hiding anything, not looking away, and not acting shy. The pictures were shared in magazines and posters everywhere. People were shocked. Some said it was too much. Others called it beautiful. But no matter what people thought, everyone agreed on one thing: these pictures could not be ignored. She was showing her body, yes, but more than that, she was showing her power. Back then, it was not easy for women to make bold choices like this. Many stars were told to follow rules, stay quiet, and act proper. Ann-Margret did not follow those rules. She was not trying to upset anyone. She was just being herself. She was proud of how she looked, and she was not afraid to let others see. Her pictures were about more than fashion or fame. They were about being brave. She was not asking for attention. She was taking control of her image. And that is something many people respected. What made these photos even more special was how natural she looked. She did not try to be perfect. She did not cover up every line or shadow. She just stood there, strong and honest. Some of the pictures showed her smiling. Some showed her serious. But all of them showed truth. A truth that many people could feel, even if they did not have the words for it. These photos became part of her story forever. Even though Ann-Margret had many roles in movies and music, those bold pictures never faded away. They stayed in books, in magazines, and in people's memories. And over time, more and more people began to understand what they really meant. It was not about being wild. It was not about being famous. It was about being free. Free to be seen. Free to make choices. Free to say, "This is who I am." She never had to explain it. The pictures said it for her. Of course, some people only talked about what she wore or how much skin she showed. But that is not the full story. If you stop and really look at the photos, you see something more. You see someone unafraid. You see someone who knew exactly what she was doing. You see someone who wanted to show the world a different kind of strength. Not loud strength. Not angry strength. Quiet strength. The kind that does not need to shout to be heard. As the years went on, Ann-Margret kept working, kept performing, and kept being herself. She never tried to hide her past. She never said those photos were a mistake. In fact, she once said that showing her real self in front of the camera helped her understand who she was. That is something many people never get to say. So, when people ask why Ann-Margret's pictures matter, the answer is simple. They matter because they were real. They matter because they were hers. They matter because they helped other people feel okay with being themselves. That is not just a moment in history. That is a message that still speaks to people now. And it started with one choice: to stop hiding. If you have ever felt unsure about being seen, or scared to show who you really are, then remember Ann-Margret. Remember the way she stood in front of the camera without fear. Remember how her photos made people stop and think. And remember that sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is be yourself, fully and completely. If this video helped you see Ann-Margret in a new way, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments what you think those photos really mean. Thank you for watching, and always remember, being yourself is not always easy, but it is always worth it.